Yesterday, I came across a Facebook post by Omoyele Sowore where he was reacting to a circular that was issued to all students by the Adekunle Ajasa University in Ondo State. So the circular reads: penalty for indecent dressing in Adekunle Ajasa University, Akunga Akoko, Ondo State. This is to inform you that the Senate had at its 171st regular meeting of Wednesday, 25th August 2021, observed and frowned at the high rate of indecent dressing amongst the students of Adekunle Ajasa University, Akunga Akoko, Ondo State. For clarity of purposes, indecent dressing includes, but not limited to, the following: wearing of skimpy skirts and blouses, leaving the cleavages open by female students, and wearing of braids or dreadlocks, earrings, nose rings, tattered jeans, sagging, etc. by some male students. After a thorough deliberation on the issue, the Senate, in its wisdom, decided that the penalty for indecent dressing shall henceforth be rustication for one semester, effective from 25th August 2021. This circular did not go down well with Mr. Omoyele Sowore, and then he went on Facebook to write against it and to disown, to kick against this circular from the Senate. Okay, so part of what Mr. Omoyele Sowore said was okay. So he wrote, said, university worldwide are not for enforcement of moral codes. They are place of research and learning. The content of a person's character can be defined by the nature of their dress. Nigerian University Senate members have only produced reached elections results in the last 20 years or more. They haven't had much academic breakthroughs, okay? And then, so if anyone have dress codes in the world top 1,000 universities, except in strictly religious nation states. Oh, well, I do not know why Mr. Omoyele had to put the exception of strictly religious nation states. Now, why other nations who have universities, that have universities that probably makes it to the top 1,000 universities in the world, and they enforce some certain, types of moral codes. Now, if we have strictly religious nations that do that, how about a nation or a continent like Africa that has its own culture? It is quite unfortunate that Omoyele Sowore goes around parading himself as one Pan-African, parading himself as someone who would want to be the president of Nigeria, an African nation, one day. Now, we have the likes of Mugabe, and we had the likes of Gaddafi, we had the likes of Mandela, we had the likes of course, Kagame of Rwanda. Now, these are African leaders who are trying to uphold African cultures, not necessarily discarding Western cultures that would bring about, any scientific or academic breakthrough, or scientific one anyway, or technological breakthrough. No, they just kick against the ones that seem to be way opposed to African cultures and tradition. For example, homosexuality, and of course the likes of indecent dressing as well. Now, Mr. Omoyele Sowore, according to him, said that he tried to suggest that anyway, you keep asking people to dress decently, you keep trying to enforce some moral codes, and then we have not been successful. We have no breakthrough in academics or science or technology. So, and then one begins to wonder as well. So is Sowore saying that for you to be a successful nation or institution organization, there is also a nexus between success and indecent dressing as well. Can you not be dressed well? Can we not uphold some certain moral codes and then at the same time be successful? Now this is Africa, and Sowore that wants to govern and that wants to be president over an African country should not necessarily jump to pick everything from the West, hook, line, and sinker, and then it will continue to desecrate and also to neglect every African culture and practices, even if they are right. Of course, I would not want to hold on to laws and culture and tradition that seems to be archaic and that they are inhumane. But it's not the same thing as asking people to dress well or to, live by some certain moral conduct. And then where the likes of Sowore will call them sinner clans on their own, would the vice president of America go to the White House in a bikini? No, they would not. Because she's not the same thing as Cardi B, and she's not the same thing as Nicki Minaj. They are way different. So if by Sowore's definition of indecent dressing and moral codes not so much necessary in any area whatsoever, so why are we not having Rastafarians and we are not having guys wearing nose rings and earrings and ladies wearing bikini right there in the White House, if we are actually supposed to use some of these nations as yardstick to measure what we should call morals or immorality in the true sense of it. So he said something. He said Nigeria is a secular state. So the fact that Nigeria is a secular state does still not mean that Nigeria cannot have certain moral codes or live by some set of moral codes and laws in the real sense of it. Now, you say Nigeria is a secular nation, but this is a very common, argument by those who probably have something against religion, or they think, okay, fine, they want to be so Western, and we should deal with everything Africa to say. And then one asks, okay, Nigeria is a secular nation, it's a secular state, right? Okay, fine. But we have the Christmas holidays, we have the Eid holidays, as well as all that. So secularism does not necessarily mean anti-religion or anti-culture. Secularism in some sense could mean inclusivity. You include everyone. But in the real sense, as much as you are including everyone, the state gives you liberty and not necessarily freedom. Even when you go to America that says it is the land of freedom, it says it's the land of liberty. It gives you liberty, so even your rights get to be checkmated by the country, by the state itself. So Nigeria being a secular nation does not mean that it should neglect every moral code or standards or just embrace any types of dressing, especially in places like schools or government institutions. No, it's a secular nation. It tries to include everyone, but it can still determine what it includes. And if the school says this is our school and this is what you want, if you don't want that, you leave the school and then you go to Cardi B School of Technology, that's fine. Or you go to University of Cardi B, exactly. Or you go to Naira Marley University, exactly. And then you can have everything that you want to do. So Mr. Sowore's outburst as a response to the circular issued by Adekunle Ajax University to its students, I think seems to be a case of misplaced priority, and it tells us what kind of a president Nigeria would have if we were to have Omoyele Sowore, and we do not see how he is going to protect or promote the African either legacy, heritage, or culture itself. When I mean culture, I mean cultures that are not inhumane, they are not necessarily archaic, and they are not backwards. And these are cultures that do not stand in the way of human reasoning that do not stand in the way of technological and scientific advancement. So if here in Nigeria, if a Nigerian university says that it does not want indecent dressing, neither does it want you to have some certain, conduct that it deems to be immoral, it does not stop the university from giving whatever we think is necessary to develop in the 21st century to say. So if the university is not meeting up, it is not the decent dressings and the moral codes that you have to blame. It is the incompetency of those who are there, not morals, not decent dressing. If not, of course, you can. If they actually replace the moral code with just everybody just do what you like. If they do not change out the reason, or they do not get to be competent, it is still going to be the same thing. So of what Mr. Omoyele Sowore says, I think this is a refutation to those who try to attack morality, and even to some certain extent religion. They blame religion and morality for backwardness and lack of development, especially in places like Africa. And then they start to cite places where people have neglected religion in its own self. So moral conduct, religion, they do not necessarily have anything to do with backwardness or lack of development. Not. You can't be religious, you can't have moral conduct, you can't be a moral person, you can dress decently, and you can still as a human being be successful, and as a nation be progressive. The UAE is a successful and progressive nation, and then it still maintains the Sharia. So what does Sowore has to say about that? So why Sowore tries to be probably a role model for youth as far as Nigeria is concerned. I think his reaction to Adekunle Ajasin University is just off it, and it probably tells us what kind of president Mr. Sowore would make. So I think he probably wants to look at this perspective, and as much as he likes rights, he should know that a university also has a right to dictate what its students should wear and should not wear.